Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Phase 3. Basement slab, basement floor, and the steps before that. So we dug a ramp out so we could get into the big hole that we dug without climbing up and down a ladder. And then, so I was using the machines to throw gravel in, push in some dirt, dig out the ramp, tried to protect the floor or the wall a little bit so that we didn't like bash it up while I was using our spaghetti noodle backhoe to dump stuff on each side and pound it down and whatnot. And I tried this I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so smart and I'm gonna use straps to pull the plywood out later. Yeah, I ended up just smacking them out with the bucket later because the straps like ripped right through the plywood. Anyway, then we dug the ramp out and put gravel in and stuff so that I could drive in, and then got stuck because I didn't dig it out enough. Had to be shallower because it's two-wheel drive. When you go down a hill forward and all the weight's like in front of you, you can't back up because the wheels don't have any traction. So did all that, cleaned
Eventually
up.
we got in there.
Yeah, cleaned up the debris and stuff from building the forms for the walls and the footings and whatever, and then started bringing gravel in. Lots of gravel.
Yeah, essentially had to fill the entire place up to the top of the footings. So.
Yeah, you got to go from like what we dug out, which was the bottom of the footing. It's a foot-ish thick, pretty much full of stone, except for the center area where there's like a footing trough where all the lolly columns will sit. And I think I could probably do the math, but that's boring for some. I like doing math. It's about 80 tons of gravel that went into this portion of the job. So it was like 2 or 3 truckloads, somewhere around that. How
many hours with the stupid stick?
I'm not counting.
Me neither.
Right, if you remember, the stupid stick is the grade rod for measuring actual height of things with the laser and or other surveyor scope things. So, yes, affectionately called stupid stick. So, spread all the gravel out, left the center area low for the footing area for the slab. It's a haunch or whatever other words for it. But then we started putting in the insulation for under the slab. We put a little bit at each end of the center trough area to be able to kind of have a full thermal break from each side. And that's so that you don't get direct cold, what's the word? There's convection, radiation, what's the other word? I don't know. There's another word for cold heat transfer directly through some solid surface. Anyway, did that and then finished leveling out the gravel. Of course, it started raining a little bit, but not too big a deal because thankfully last year when we did all this,
it didn't rain for months.
The weather was very reasonable all the way through September, October, November when we were doing all this. So, and not last year being 24 fall, winter. Then we started building a form around the edge for containing the slab because we don't have walls up, and typically the foundation contractor will put the footings in and then put the walls up and then pour the slab, and the walls become the form for the slab. But we don't want to do it the way they do it because I don't really have the capacity to. So we put a form in around the whole edge to set the height for the slab, and we used like recycled lumber that we were given for that. We had to pull nails, so that was mostly Sarah's job, was pulling nails, pounding nails out of all our free lumber, free 2x4s. The other lumber that we've been using so far and will continue to use is really what we'll build the house out of. And then basically, once the gravel's done, once everything's leveled and set the right heights, then we started.
And once Marcel was set up with his bag of snacks and his chair and his tablet.
Yeah, he had a little camping station basically. Sit him over there, watch a movie, have the right snacks, and he's good to go for a little while anyway. He's only 3 at this point.
Yeah.
Not even?
Not even. Used to.
2.5, yeah. So then we brought all the foam in for the floor and started setting that out and laying that out. And I went around and marked the top of our slab form and cut it all as exactly to the right height as possible because our footings weren't exactly to the right height.
Whoops.
Happens. But this way we could kind of get reset to sort of level. And then spread it all out, insulate it all. Pretty much worked out to where there wasn't a whole lot of cutting and dealing with things. It's a big rectangle that we're building, right? There's a little tiny bit of nuance to it because we want to keep it simple and sort of doable, and it's already enough work building the whole house, so let's make it sort of easy to deal with. Then formed out a little area where the back door will be. That's where I dug the ramp. The slab kind of pours over top of the frost wall that we previously did, so that it's continuous right there where the door ends up being. And then put the sump pump in.
This is whoopsies.
Yeah, sump pit. We didn't need a pump, but it's sort of if we do need it, or if we need a radon fan, or right now the condensate for the hot water heater and things drain into it, which is working out pretty nice actually. Because there's a lot of gravel under there, so there's a lot of places for the water to go. That was almost at the end. I got almost to the end, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. But anyway, and then we had to like rip pieces of the styrofoam foam board insulation to make the sides of the trench trough haunch footing so that it's sort of sloped on the sides, because that makes it less likely to heave. I don't know the science behind that part of it, but there is apparently science for that. Oh, here we go. Sword fight time, right? You weren't there for that. You missed out on sword fights. This was like a Sunday afternoon of spreading out the bigger piece of the plastic, and the kids needed something to do, so they found scraps of the foam and had sword fights while I was doing the rebar in the center trough footing
What
area.
else do you do with foam scraps? Then beat up each
Don't
other.
eat them. Thankfully, that wasn't a problem. So I'm going back now. So, basement floor in preparation for basement walls, in preparation for a house. Okay, so we decided to do it in 3 sections, so it would be somewhat manageable. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking on these things.
You know what you're talking about.
And so we split it in thirds. Anyway, part of be able to put an expansion joint in, but also to make it manageable sections. So I came up with this idea of like, we'll build a form that we can easily flip over the next day to do the next section. So we made it out of boards that we would then use later for the house, and made them in lengths that we could then use without cutting too much and not wasting really anything, and working off of the form that we put around the perimeter and maintaining the same height in the middle where the form sectioned off that part of the slab. And we had help for the first section because we didn't know how to use a bull float, so we got instructions on that from Jason. He came and kind of helped us set the first section. Here's how we do it as far as making sure there's enough concrete, level it out, screed it off, bull float it, and then we just finished with a Fresno float, which is just a really big rounded edge trowel that you can kind of flatten it out, and it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but again, basement floor, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we flipped it around and we did it all over again the next day.
Yes.
And this was our concrete driver Sinbad. He had these crazy like rhinestone glasses too. That was pretty neat. And the first and only time of a rear distributing truck too. So it actually worked out pretty nice for this, but I don't think it would have worked good for anything else because it's lower off the back of the truck. It was nice because you could just swing the chute, but this was the only time it would have worked well. So this one we did just me and Sarah and my dad. Again, fill it, screed it, float it, trowel it. And then it's done. And this is actually, I think, the best section out of the 3. Because This first one went pretty well, and it's pretty smooth, but this one actually is the best looking one out of the three. Anyway.
And then we put our handprints
Oh, yeah,
in.
put our handprints in. And the year and whatnot, like we were here. We actually did this. And then took it all apart. And
Cleaned it up.
Yep, cleaned it up and put a expansion joint in the middle for the separation of the sections so they have a little bit of room to move. So that had to get like screwed to each of the existing sections, so I had a way to keep it in place. So I'll sit there and go along with a drill and a screw gun. Put screws in every few feet and pour the last section.
Yeah.
Borrowed a chute that kind of attaches to the truck chute so that you could get to the middle of the house.
Playing with a toddler.
Yeah. I want to help.
He's done so well with having to be there. He was there from day one, every day with us.
Yeah. He's hanging out in his little chair, watching us work. And screed, and we put too much in that section. That was our mistake there.
Yeah.
It was like a yard extra in the floor. I had to screed off all the way to the end. And then trowel it off and float it off and all that business. And clean everything up and try to get it as good as possible. It came out pretty good for a couple of three amateurs.
Like your one kick dances over there.
Yeah, well, I had to like reach the middle of the middle, right? And it's 8 feet wide. And the only way to do that is to put your foot back so that you don't fall in face first. Otherwise, you fall in face first and you're going to face plant everything. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that.
All right, floor is done.
Floor's done.